Hi, everybody. It's Jane Hamill from Fashion Brain Academy. This video, I'm asking you a question. This time next year, what would you like your business to be like? I mean, like for reals. If you don't know me, I'm Jane Hamill from Fashion Brain Academy and Fashion Brain Academy. I should get those words out. I've been traveling a lot lately and I've been going to trade shows and things in addition to doing my regular courses and students and clients. I've been meeting so many entrepreneurs and clothing designers, and I'm asking them, "Hey guys, tell me about your business." And then I say, "What would you like it to be like next year at this time, like for reals?" And here's the look that I get. They're like, hmm. And then I get the response similar to this. Well, I want to be selling more. I want more sales. I want to have a little more money in the bank. Like some version of I want to sell more. No shizzle. We all want to sell more, right? That's an obvious answer. So then I probe a little bit, right? And I say, well, who doesn't want to sell more? No kidding. So I say to him, all right, so do you want your sales to be mostly e-commerce, wholesale, pop-ups, direct to consumer, like any different way of thing? Do you want to have, what is your business model? How do you plan to make money? What different profit centers do you have? Or what different streams of income do you have? Do you want to be all online? Do you want to be mostly wholesale with some online presence? Do you want to be, how do you actually plan to get those sales? And I'll tell you, these questions were met with a long pause from most entrepreneurs, which is understandable, right? And then there's a deep breath. And then the answer was usually, well, I'm not sure, but I think I like the first idea you suggested, mostly wholesale, but this, or mostly e-commerce, but this, because the truth is many of us and many of the designers that I'm talking to haven't really thought about it. Okay. You're thinking, I want to sell more. I'm just going to work harder and then I'll make more. But you haven't really made a decision as to where those sales are going to come from and what specific actions you can take in order to make those sales happen, right? So that's why we're here today, because the thing is, you are the person who gets to decide how you run your business, okay? And I totally get not having a plan for how you're going to specifically bring in income. I get that. I get it more than I'd like to admit, honestly, as a creative business owner for this many years. But I'll tell you this is your sandbox, okay? You can build your castle, your sandcastle, any way you want it to be. You don't have to say, oh, but you're supposed to get into stores. That's what I was told. Or I'm supposed to be online. Or I'm supposed to do Instagram. I'm supposed to do blah, 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 blah. You can make your living any way you want to. And there are absolutely no rules about this. And what one person says is the best way to run a business is not necessarily the best way for you or your business. Okay. I am seeing some weird ass shizzle going on in my uh, groups that I run and in my courses of different ways people are making money and different types of products. And it's not necessarily the typical thing that you would think. All right. So it's really actually fantastic because there's so many different ways to bake this cake here, right? But the thing is, once you decide what kind of business you really want. You want it to be mostly like this, and then you want to travel this many times a year, blah, blah, blah. Once you make that decision, everything becomes easier. It really does, because you can then reverse engineer, work it backwards to make a plan, a step-by-step plan. You can do this. I could do this. Anybody can do this, but you have to have a goal. You have to have a North Star. If you are I like to tell my students and clients, you are the self-guided missile. Okay. You are a missile that has chosen something you're supposed to blow up or something, right? And if you're a self-guided missile, you're programmed in where you want to go. And then if you get off track or your target moves, the missile readjusts, right? And reprograms itself to keep on task. But if you don't know what your goal is, what you really want out of your business, it's not going to work. It's not going to happen at all. Okay. So deciding what you really want, what type of business and how you want to make your money is hard. After you do that, everything is easier. Everything, everything, everything. It helps you say no to certain things so you can say yes to other things to get you to that goal. All right. I also learned from talking to all of these designers that everyone is scared. This is the second thing I learned. Everyone is scared. All entrepreneurs are scared. Sometimes every hour, sometimes every minute, sometimes every day, sometimes once a week. Who knows? We're all different. But having a stomach ache from fear or stress, especially with the startups, I got to tell you, it's not uncommon. Okay. You're not alone if you are feeling nervous and worried that you're making the wrong decision all the time. That is part of entrepreneurship, okay? We all just have to deal with it and kind of move on, feel the fear and do it anyway, is what my mom always said. And I'll tell you, when I first had my clothing line and my boutique, I had a stomach ache all the time, and I would walk down a couple storefronts from my boutique and buy ice cream, get Baskin Robbins, because my stomach hurt and I was nervous. And it actually did help. So we're all scared. Okay. So during these talks with designers that I had at these shows, a few designers got really real with me. Okay. They told me the truth about avoiding doing any work at all on their business or anything that was important for months at a time for no apparent reason. And of course, once we just peeled that onion a little bit, it became clear that they kind of knew the reason they weren't working on it. And it always came down to one thing, which was they were afraid to do the wrong thing. They're afraid to do anything because they didn't want to do the wrong thing. They were afraid of criticism. They're afraid of snide comments. They're afraid of looking foolish, of wasting money, of what somebody might think. They're afraid of appearing selfish because they're doing their own thing. Can you relate to any of that? I know I can. And then with this one designer, the tears welled up when she was faced with the prospect of being in the exact same position she is right now next year at this time. I saw her tears. I had my own tears with her. And she said, I understand what you're saying about what I want next year, because last year at this time, I said the same thing. I said what I wanted, and I didn't do anything about it this year. And it made her very sad. And it was sad to see. Okay. Because this shizzle, this is real. Like, this is your life. Okay. And, it's not just about like designing the line and posting on Instagram and driving traffic to your site. It's about getting out of your own way, getting, what kind of actions you can specifically take that will make you successful, and getting out of your own way and getting over your own kind of fears or whatever might be holding you back has nothing to do with talent or connections or money or how good a designer you are or anything. And how successful you can be as an entrepreneur has a lot more to do with what goes on between the ears than it does with what what's your actual talent going on, or your God-given like ability to sell, because most of those things can be learned. Okay. The last thing I learned is that there are a few of us out there, and I would say a few entrepreneurs and designers that I met, who really are not afraid to fail. They just don't give a flying F. I'll tell you this. And that's an amazing place to be. And this is definitely the minority of people. But the people who are few and far between, they give off a vibe that it's one of adventure. Like, this business is an adventure and a journey. And some of it's not going to work, and they're not that concerned about it. Okay. They take the attitude of, hey, I'm Jane. I'm just going to test this out. I'm going to try this kind of business model or this way of selling, rather than what if I try this and it sucks and I lose all my money and I end up homeless. Okay. They're looking on it as a challenge, a test. Okay. And if you can be in that group of people who's able to get your mindset thus that this is a challenge, I'm going to go for this, and then it's part of it's not going to work, but I know I can pivot and I can readjust, and I can just keep listening to the market and the people with the credit cards to see what's working and what's selling. If you can look at it like that, like it's a journey to success rather than a journey to try to avoid pitfalls and mistakes all the time and being worried all the time, that is what is going to make you a successful entrepreneur. So why will next year be any different than this year? What are you going to do? Back to the very first point, most of us are not very good planners. If we don't have a goal, if we don't have an end place we want to be with our business, we got nothing. You're just working and working and working, but you're not working towards anything specific. And that is what makes life hard and makes you get overwhelmed. So I want you to really, really think about what it is that you can want with your business and actually your life. Okay. Because if you design a business that makes tons of money, but you don't love it, it's not going to be that fun anyway. Right. So what do you want out of your business and your life this year? Okay. And really actually think about it and really write it down, even if you have no idea how you could get it. And then do something about it. Make a simple plan. Decide, what are my first steps to getting there? Okay. So I am signing up for a course again this year that I took 2 years ago. It's called Best Year Ever. Now, I wish I'd made this video sooner because today is the last day to sign up. But whether you decide to join me in this course or not, I'm just going to tell you about it. It's called Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. And it's all about making this next year your best year yet. Okay. Any best than you've ever had. Now, Michael says, and I really appreciate this, he says, we all reach January with great intentions, don't we? But as exciting as it is to dream about the possibilities, we know ourselves too well. We can't just white knuckle our way to new destinations, even though we've tried. It's far simpler than you may think to create truly actionable, compelling goals and chart a powerful course for achieving them. It's just that you have to take time and effort to do it. I had that last part myself. So I'm a big fan of Michael Hyatt's stuff. So I encourage you to check it out and see if it resonates with you. He's a completely different style than I do. He comes from a big time corporate background. Everything he does is very polished, very slick. But for whatever reason, his stuff always helps me. He's smart. Now, 2 years ago, I did this course. I'm doing it again this year because it was useful. And I think it worked for me so well because he's so organized. And not only is he telling us he's a really high performer, not only is Michael Hyatt telling us this is what works for me, because that's one person and I'm a heavy creative and he's a corporate guy, right? But he has 25,000 students in here. And he's really into studying the data of what makes them successful and what makes them achieve goals. And so if he's, he's not just going by, this worked for me, you should do it, which is what a lot of, planning and productivity courses are. He's going off the data. This has worked for 76% of the people in this course. All right. Now that's what I'm talking about. So I'll leave the link for it here, but I am going to be signing up and I'm going to be participating. And I did it a couple of years ago and I still remember it. I still have habits that have stuck with me. So what's going to make next year better? Where do you want to go? Are you ready to really just take some time and set your goals and then stay accountable to reach them? And the other thing I like about Michael's stuff is he's like, you only want to work on 3 goals like per 3 months. Like that's it. A lot of us make so many goals and then we're like, we can't even get anywhere near them because there's just too much. It's like physically impossible. And then we get overwhelmed and then we get depressed and we don't do anything. Next thing you know, we're sitting on the couch with a bag of chips watching Netflix. Nobody wants that. All right. So I hope this has helped you. Let me know in the comments. I love hearing from you. Making videos is, pretty fun, but hearing from you guys is the whole reason I do this. So hook me up, leave a comment. If you're not subscribed to my list, head back to fashionbrainacademy.com, sign yourself up. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. I'd love to have you part of the Fashion Brain community. All right. Have an awesome day, guys. I'm Jane Hamill and I'm signing out. Take it easy. Have a great day. Bye, guys.